Hello everybody and welcome back to the Game King. I'm your host Brandon Alanis, and well, we finally hit it. The quiet games industry news drought. Headlines are hard to come by, and what you do find might not be the nicest news, but I found just enough to get us through to the end. So without further ado, let's get to your releases of the week. This week seems to be slow in big releases, but I have seen some interest in Once Human, the new free-to-play MMO from NetEase, with the game already surpassing 100,000 players on Steam. My recommendation though goes to Neon White, which is making its Xbox debut this week, with it also launching on Game Pass. It's a fantastic game that I played last year. It has some of the tightest gameplay I've ever had in any video game I've ever played, and the soundtrack is just amazing. Speaking of Game Pass, let's get to our first headline of the show. Microsoft and Xbox have announced a price increase for its Game Pass plans, including the retirement of one plan. So, this is actually very confusing, so stay with me. First, to keep things simple, all Game Pass plans include the ability to play online. Now, onto the differences. Xbox Game Pass Core, which includes a very small library of 25 games, and was basically the previous plan known as Xbox Live Gold, will cost $10 a month. Xbox Game Pass Standard includes the full library of Game Pass titles, but it excludes Day 1 titles, which will be added at a later date. This is $15 a month. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which includes everything such as the Day 1 titles and access to PC Game Pass, will cost $20 a month. As for Xbox Game Pass for console, the original Game Pass plan, any users who are already on the plan can continue to keep it for access to Day 1 titles and its cheaper price, but no new users can sign up for the plan. As for PC Game Pass, that will remain unchanged and stay at its current price. It seems Xbox is starting to see minimal growth with Game Pass, and this probably explains the reasoning behind the price increases. It just really feels like every time Xbox takes a step forward though, bad news is just sitting there to punch them back down. Although, with Call of Duty Black Ops 6 coming later this year and a promising slate on the horizon, maybe things will finally begin to stabilize for the Xbox brand going forward. Piranha Bytes, the studio behind Gothic, Risen, and Elitz, were apparently shut down at the end of June. The Embracer-owned company is yet just another in the years-long battle with layoffs and closures the industry has faced. And just one of the many Embracers themselves has had a hand in closing. It is heartbreaking to see yet another studio close, and I hope every employee of the studio can find new work in the industry and get back on their feet. In some small good news though, the founders of Piranha Bytes announced the founding of a brand new studio, Pithead Studios. So maybe many of the employees who were fired and released from their jobs can find work there. We wish them the best of luck as they go independent. Cities Skyline 2 console port has been delayed indefinitely. While the game has been available on PC since last year, Paradox said they have not yet met the stability and performance targets set for the console release. This means Cities Skylines 2 will miss its October console release date. Disney Speedstorm won't be the only new Disney mobile game this year, as Disney and Gunko Online Entertainment have announced Disney Pitzel, a brand new RPG coming to mobile devices sometime later this year. The story focuses on the game worlds the Disney characters inhabit being merged as evil programs begin to infect and destroy them. The Disney characters will have to team up and defeat these evil forces. And I have now said Disney about 6 times. The pixel art here looks really great, and while I'm like 95% sure this game is going to be full of microtransactions, I'll definitely be giving it a spin and hope for the best, because I'll play anything, and I mean any Disney mobile game, in the hopes that it might actually be good. This week sees the launch of Overwatch 2's collab with Transformers. The event includes 4 skins, with Reinhardt as Optimus Prime, Ramatra as Megatron, Bastion as Bumblebee, and Nalari as Arcee. I don't love these skins, except for Optimus Prime Reinhardt. He is perfect. But if you main any of these characters, picking up one may not be a bad idea. A brand new 3D Double Dragon game is set for release next year. Double Dragon Revive is in development at Arc System Works and Ukes, and set for release in 2025 for PlayStation 5 and 4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC. This isn't the first time the studio will tackle the classic series, as they purchased the rights and released Double Dragon 4 back in 2017. Hopefully this one can turn out just a bit better than that one. And so far, while I don't love the way the game looks, the combat itself looks really good and weirdly deep. So I'll definitely be keeping my eyes on this one and see how it develops further. Focus Entertainment and Saber Interactive's Space Marine 2 has gone gold. The sequel to the 2011 cult classic is apparently ready to go. It was just last week when the publisher announced that the beta would be canceled to focus on the full release version of the game, which is set for a September 9th release. My brother and I are huge fans of the first game, and if you've never played it, I highly recommend picking up a copy to play before the sequel drops. Nintendo shared a cryptic video to their YouTube channel this week that is seemingly teasing a new horror game. The video is simply titled Emio, and I don't know if I'm saying that right. It is unknown what kind of game this will be since it's only a teaser, although rumors suggest Bloober Team, the studio behind Layers of Fear and the upcoming Silent Hill 2 remake, are behind this title, or maybe just publishing it. Hopefully we hear more in the coming weeks, as a horror game being made in collaboration with Nintendo seems really exciting. Bungie held a small live stream this week covering details on some future Destiny 2 updates. Starting during Episode 2, all seasonal story content will drop together. Bungie said this decision was to let players go through story content at their own pace. As Bungie continues to experiment with their new episodes and acts system that replaced the seasonal system, they seem to be looking ahead to a bright future and a new era, which Bungie seems to be calling Frontiers. If you're a Destiny player who hasn't jumped into the final shape yet, I cannot even begin to talk about my love for it. It is amazing. Now seems to be the perfect time to jump back into the game, or maybe give it a spin as a new player now that all the big expansions have been released. Before we go, something cool. I finally got my Riff Master guitar. I ordered this thing back in like April and I really like it. I've never been a big fan of the Rock Band guitars personally. I always preferred the Guitar Hero frets, but this guitar might have just made me a fan. The frets feel great and the strum bar is just perfect. My only gripe might just be the finish, which is just like, take a moment with me. You should never use this material on a peripheral or device that you're going to be holding for like a long period of time. It is a literal fingerprint magnet and it's my biggest gripe with it, but other than that, I'm really happy with it, and using it with both Rock Band 4 and Fortnite Festival is awesome, and I can't wait to put like 1,000 hours of playtime on it. And with that, this has been another week of the Game Ping. So remember to click that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified when new episodes drop. I've been your host, Brandon Alanis. See you all soon.